dum 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 dum
Space between, space between, space between. Space between.
What's going on? This is the Space Between podcast where we talk about the space between life and art, passion and business, what's happening now and what's happening next. I'm Pat Shand.
I'm Amy Shand.
Hi guys, I'm Shannon Lee.
And I'm Ryan Fassett.
And we're here to talk about our year in review. Personally, entertainment-wise, maybe even cat-wise. We've had some pretty cat-centric episodes recently. Ryan, when you weren't here, Hoyt was acting a goddamn fool.
It's his new thing.
Is that new?
He's like in his terrible two phases, you know.
He is our older, fatter, white cat.
He's calmed down a little bit.
Neil, our Arctic seal. It was once his role to do the screaming, the yowling for food, but now he could sit back because Hoyt has taken the mantle. Sort of like when Batman passes the cowl off.
Right.
Neil has passed the asshole cowl off to Hoyt.
It's the stages of their growth, you know. Neil's like too lazy now.
It's like a jackass cat Game of Thrones going on here.
Exactly. You know what? In so many ways it is. In so many ways it is.
Do you think that Hoyt's gonna pass it off to Chi-Chi?
Oh, yes.
Probably.
Yes.
Chi-Chi is the newest kitty.
She's one of my highlights of 2017, actually.
I was about to say, this is a great starting point. We've had a pretty crazy year. Personally, myself and my wife, Amy, got married in this motherfucker in 2017.
That was so fun.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good highlight.
And you were both there.
Yes,
were.
yeah,
It
both
was
there.
fun times. So yeah, I'll start with what happened, the craziest events that happened in our year, and then we'll hear some crazy or just maybe even not crazy shit from you guys. Our year started off with our car getting stolen.
Yep, right out of our parking lot in our complex.
Yes, our beautiful blue Nissan Sentra. And you can't judge us for this. Especially, don't judge Amy. I told her to do it this way. I said that when it's cold outside...
It gets really cold. And I'm from San Diego, so
Yes.
it gets extremely cold for me. I start getting cold like last month.
Right.
So I would preheat the car just for a couple minutes, and I would come back up. And because like the lady who I nanny for, she has a button on her key where she pushes the button from inside the
Those
house
are great.
like while she's talking
So
to
efficient.
me. Yeah, and the car turns on, it starts to heat, and it remains locked.
Right.
But I would put the key in, turn the car on, start the heat, and I would come up, just like grab my apron and say bye to Pat. 5 minutes total. And then I came back down one morning, and it was very early because I was opening. So it was like 4:30 in the morning. I had to be there. So it was before 4:30 in the morning. And I came back down 5 minutes later, and the car was gone. And there's like hardly any lights in the parking lot, especially at this time. So it was dark and it was quiet. At this point, the car was not in the parking lot anymore. And I thought I was tripping.
She comes upstairs and she goes, I think the car is gone.
I started crying. I was like,
Oh
how
my
can
God.
this happen to us? You
Well,
know?
it did.
Yeah, and our theory was that it was kind of like a joyride type of thing. Like, I think that somebody had noticed that Amy had been doing this, like some kids or something.
Like some neighbor kid or
yeah,
whatever. But
and then
Those damn hooligan
hopped in.
teenagers.
The damn hooligan team. You know what? I think it's youngish kids who do live here. I do.
but
Are there a
what
lot of
happened
kids in the
was-
complex? Like I haven't
There's
seen.
a lot of families here, but mostly
Okay.
it's like younger kids. But recently we've had some people move in that are like more our age, but
Yeah.
they're I would say more immature. But that being said, we don't know or make a point to get to know any of our neighbors.
No, in fact, the only
We
time
just
I've
judge
ever
them from afar. So.
the only time I've ever gone knocking door to door or even spoken to any of our neighbors was
Trick or
to be
treating.
like, "Have you guys what?"
Dude,
I was like,
this year,
"Have you guys
oh.
seen anything? Did you guys see anything with my car? Did
Yeah.
you see anyone maybe even steal it? Was it maybe you? You know?" Yeah. So car was stolen. We then found the car
Well, what
parked.
happened was we called the cops and
Yeah.
filed a missing report real quick. They didn't do anything.
They didn't do anything. No.
Then we found it ourselves.
Yes, in a parking lot, in a little shopping center. I was passing by, and I was like, "That beautiful blue Nissan Sentra, the gas cap is broken the same way ours is, and it has California plates."
Jesus.
So we pulled over.
What are the odds?
What are the odds? So we got the car back. Happy ending until 1 month later when that motherfucker burned down.
Spontaneously combusted.
It combusted on the highway, the expressway.
We were driving in it while it caught fire.
Indeed, and
It's just horrifying and everybody's worst nightmare.
I took a video of it and sent it to my mom-in-law, and she was like, I can't believe that's your car.
oh yeah.
It looked like Fast and the Furious.
What happened was we were driving and we were nearing home. Right, the car started to have a little shake action. I'm like, this car is old. You know, I'm gonna get it home. We're 5 minutes from home. I'm going to get it there, and then I'm going to take it to the mechanic tomorrow. Casually. And then some guy next to me, some guy next to us on my side is doing the roll down motion. But,
Roll down your window.
Yeah, but I think
Whilst
he's just
yelling at us.
He's yelling, and I'm like, "What? This motherfucker wants to get in? Just go, you know."
He just wants to know if you have any Grey Poupon.
Right. So this guy, right? He keeps doing this. And I'm like, you want to fucking pop off? So I roll my window down, and I'm like, what?
Middle finger already.
Right, all set for it. He goes, you're on fire!
Thanks, man. Here's food.
It was
Oh
so
my
scary
God.
because by the time we pulled over on the side of the road, Pat's side of his car was already completely melted, and he had to crawl out of the car on my side.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And you know what? All right, you think, sitting here, right? Ryan, if I told you you are in an object that's on fire, what would your thought be right now?
Like, what would my reaction be?
Yes.
Probably get out of it.
Get out, right? Get out, Shannon?
Yeah, well, definitely.
So when you're in the moment and you're transitioning mentally from who is this asshole to you're on fire, it's hard to jump to conclusions as far as what to do. You
Yeah.
know? I'm like, oh, cause of fire,
You're like,
what do
can I
do?
still make it home?
Yeah. So Amy's like,
Maybe if I drive faster, it'll put out.
yeah, exactly.
What is the mechanic gonna think?
The wind will put it out.
So
Whatever.
Amy goes, we have to get out now.
Yeah.
Instantly. And obviously that's what you do.
Immediately. Just get out of the car.
So we got out, and the car became a fucking melted skeleton. But just so we don't spend too much time on this, just to roll through the rest of our year, we got married. We joined together in the holiest
of unions.
of unions.
The car was not there.
The car was definitely
I was
not.
not invited to the
It
ceremony.
was not. It
My
was,
family was, though.
yes, from
that
San
was great.
Diego.
Yeah, they
so
came
cool
down.
to see him.
So good to see them.
And on that note, Amy and I had our honeymoon in San Diego.
Right.
And then we adopted our youngest kitten, Chi-Chi. And we'll tell the whole story of Chi-Chi in a
In a
different
cat
podcast. Just so we can
The
focus-
legend of Chi-Chi.
the legend of Chi-Chi.
Chihuahua the calico.
So you guys, let's start with Ryan because Ryan is finally back from his adventures.
Yeah, he's been doing so much.
He's been looking
As you've
for
heard.
gold on the beach
Yeah.
with his little metal detector action. He has been in
O-
North
only
Korea.
when I had a metal detector. A lot of the time, I
Oh,
was out
shit.
there with my bare fucking hands,
Oh my god!
digging
my
through the
God.
surf. You know,
This is new information.
this is breaking exclusive news on this podcast.
Now that he's back, he can tell us those deeds.
It's true.
Yeah.
You were in North Korea.
He was a
That was
dog-
me on that
dog
video.
catcher.
You saw that video the
I
other day,
didn't
right?
see the video. No.
Oh no, they have a video online of this guy like crossing the border into South Korea and then
Oh,
like
my
literally like
God,
Indiana Jones style running after him shooting. Like
I did see that.
That was me.
What? That's
Yeah.
the news.
I did see that. Some brave Ryan Fassett escaped from North Korea to South Korea, and he just fucking booked it. They were blasting at him.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
He got shot, and
Did he die?
no.
Well, I'm here.
Yeah.
he's here.
He lives to tell the tale.
Here's the craziest part, though. This guy, he was sick as a motherfucker. His stomach was infected. The doctor said that that his health was only comparable to what they've seen in textbooks. They've never seen
my
anything like
God.
it.
Actually,
But
on
he
that
hauled ass.
on that same note, if you can't tell already, this is a joke. I was not actually in North Korea, but shut up. But yeah, actually, in the car ride right over here right now, they were saying on the news that they found like a boat full of guys that had left there, and they were all like
Oof.
just destroyed. You know, like
Yeah.
barely hanging on.
Fucked
you know,
up.
and they said like they've had like a big increase of people running from there pretty much.
That sounds horrible.
It's so brave. And it is the last place I would ever want to live. So please don't conquer us.
For me, second to last with New Jersey. I'd say.
Oh my God. There are nice parts
New
of Jersey.
Jersey makes
Just
the list.
because
I
Any
found out-
any state you have to jump in with, but there are nice parts. You know it's bad.
But I
That's-
thought about moving there because of the price and how close it is to the city.
yeah.
Like, imagine a big old house in wherever the fuck in Jersey.
But
with
see,
some trees.
that's the trap. It's like how you can like buy like a nice, like big, 5-bedroom
like
house
Arizona.
in Detroit for like $30,000, which is unfathomable anywhere else. But
Right.
because Detroit's like a war zone pretty much, it's like, oh, there's the trade-off.
Do you know Eminem? Eminem has a mansion in Detroit, and I'm just like, that must have cost like $150,000. And then like, what does he spend money on?
Security, probably.
Yeah. He probably has a fucking army there.
Yeah.
All right, so Ryan, talk about your year. Any personal stuff first, crazy stuff, and then later on, after you and Shannon go, we'll get into our entertainment.
I guess I'd call it a busy year, which I don't say is a bad thing because, obviously you want to be working a lot and making that money.
In fact, what do you do? Tell the people.
When I'm not
If you can.
when I'm not in North Korea or digging up sand, and when I'm not working with these guys on comic books and whatnot, what I do is I work in the media. Actually, I am a videographer. I'm the guy that goes out and tapes news stories and all that fun stuff. So in our local area, this past year, that ranges from holiday events and nice stuff to gang murders.
Is that like video journalism?
Yeah, I'm not the reporter on camera. I'm the guy behind the camera. So
Okay.
I'm the guy running the camera.
Nice.
What is the craziest story of 2017 in that case?
That you've
With-
covered
with-
personally.
Yeah.
I mean, having to get full White House credentials and everything, and full Secret Service credentials to film the president this year.
God
Wow.
damn.
So, and all his jolliness.
Where
So-
was that?
It was at Long Island MacArthur Airport. He was flying in to address police cadets or something. So yeah, I was there, a couple hundred feet away, getting
God
footage of
damn.
everything.
Now, I have to ask you,
Yep.
are you fake news?
Depends who you ask, I guess. I don't know.
Was he like really orange in real life?
Here's what I said to people, actually, because that, believe it or not, that's the first thing everyone wants to know. They're like,
I
oh, you saw
wanna
him in
know.
person. Like, what the hell does he look like?
Yeah.
His
Is
hair,
he a reptilian alien?
Yeah.
I can't confirm that,
Okay.
unfortunately, with my
No
experience.
flashing of the eyes.
No
Okay.
flashing. Yeah, I didn't
All
catch
right.
that. But
All right. I'll have to rewatch. the
I
footage,
wasn't
but-
that close to him.
Okay.
But I told everyone that his hair is a color I've never seen in nature.
Oh my God.
It's like the liquid in a highlighter, but like
That's disgusting.
weirder, and it's just, it glows, but it doesn't, it's a real, like, at war with itself visual, like,
Oh man.
you'd
Oh
say,
my
oh,
God.
it looks like this, but then, very, very interesting looking guy. I have seen him in person before his rise to craziness, though.
Really?
I saw him live at, of course, a wrestling event probably a decade or more ago now in Washington, D.C. He was there, part of the WWE action in the ring.
That's
And
sad.
now
Our
he's
president, everybody.
yeah, now
Exactly what I
he's
was gonna
running
say.
the world. So
Oh my god.
thanks.
Yep.
God.
Did he
damn.
get the chair like to the back?
No, they didn't beat him up at that one. The show, because it was right before WrestleMania. That WrestleMania is where now that there's that funny GIF everyone likes to share of Stone Cold Steve Austin beating him up.
Oh yeah.
So I got the preview episode into that, if you will.
Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, that was my adventure with good old Donnie Boy.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
You guys have a history.
we do. I wouldn't say we're tight, but we run in the same circles.
Oh my god.
Running.
We've been on the same airport tarmac.
Oh wow.
So gross. How about you, Shannon? How was 2017?
Well, now that we're on the subject, I mean, I pretty much blacked out from the election on, so
I hear that.
I think Trump did too, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
unfortunately.
If you've seen how things are going.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I don't know. My 2017, not to be morbid, but did feel like a big black hole. Like, I don't remember much about what happened. I mean, nothing crazy. I mean, like, I did quit a job, had to job search for a new one. I mean, I started with this company, Space Between, at the end of 2016.
Yes.
So technically my really full run has been this year. So that's been super exciting and interesting to become a part of this different thing. But I don't know. Nothing happened this year for me. I know some years can be like crazy. Like you guys had so many things happen at once, like with your car or this or that. But, I don't know. Nothing happened to me, you guys.
I hear you with that though, because like
Yeah.
there's someone will like mention like just in conversation a year from whatever 5
Yeah,
years
like,
ago,
I'll have,
10 years
like,
ago,
yeah,
and I'll just
other
be
years.
like, what the hell was I doing? I honestly have no recollection of like
Yeah.
anything memorable.
Yeah.
Plus, it's okay now that it's so close to the new year to
Yeah.
look forward to next year and think of it as like, a fresh start.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm lucky nothing bad happened this year, but also nothing like crazy exciting either.
Nothing
It was
life-changing.
Yeah, it was like a smooth year, which is not a bad thing. I will take it. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping next year something exciting. Oh, actually, well, this year my dog got super sick. So that was actually pretty sad, but
That's a bummer, yeah.
he's fine now. He is just old.
Good.
But yeah, there was a lot of vet visits of us being like worried about stuff with him.
I remember that was a big.
Yeah, that sucked
thing.
pretty bad. I have a boxer. It's our third one, so we're definitely a boxer family. And he's old. He's living pretty long. I mean, like, well, I can't say our first dog did live like till a full year, like lifespan, 12 years old. Our second dog had a heart attack super young. So we were shocked to see that this dog is like living a full life.
How old
again.
is he now?
He's 11.
Okay.
And they do live until like 12 or something. So yeah, he's just my old man.
Aw.
But he's
I
still
love boxers.
around.
They're so cute. They have
Yeah.
such a nice square face, and every boxer I've met has been so well tempered, and sweet.
They can be pretty like excitable, but I mean,
Yeah, I have
he
a
is
spaniel
sweet.
at home, and she's like, we call her, she has Springer rage because she's
Springer
like, she'll
rage.
snap, and she's really like easily,
Yeah.
I had an
Excitable.
English Springer Spaniel.
Oh,
Oh my
really?
gosh, my dad has one at home.
Yeah.
At first, when I saw this dog, I was just like, "There's no way this dog could fuck anyone up."
She looks so sweet, but
But
she can be a little feisty.
Now that I know her,
Yeah.
there is just something small missing from her gaze.
in her eyes, you can see it. She's a wacko. But she's old as well. She's probably like 10 or 11 now.
Before we move on to entertainment stuff, don't tell the full story because I want to do a full episode about leaving jobs. But Amy,
Yes.
you left some jobs this year.
Yes. Pat and I call myself the bridge burner.
It's
The
true.
burner of bridges.
She does tend to carry a carton of gasoline with her.
I have anger problems, and I do
You?
not see a therapist.
You, Amy?
Yes.
Okay.
And I this year created myself a little reputation
What do you mean?
as the girl who leaves jobs.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, but you shouldn't ever stay at a job if it's not making you happy or not right for you.
But the right thing to do is to have a conversation about it.
Oh, she just like lights that match
I leave.
and then
I literally leave.
Well,
And you do not see me again, and I won't shop
Pours
there again.
gas all over that song.
yeah.
That's why it's called the bridge burner.
I've done
It's
this
not
too,
the
though.
quitter.
I've done this too, where I am at a job and I'm like, you know what though? Fuck this.
Now,
And I'm
question:
out.
Did
That's
you
an
leave
enabler.
McDonald's on good terms? Because like you talk about it like after the fact, like a prison inmate was like, "I did 4 years at McDonald's, motherfucker."
You know what I did, and in fact, when I quit, I was sad about it. I had some connections there.
You mean connections to
the food?
food,
No,
exactly.
I had
He was very close with the grimace.
yeah.
you know, I had a mother-son kind of relationship with the woman who worked in the grill, Esther. She was like the grill mom, and she treated everyone there as her like children.
It's amazing.
And I was her
Her
favorite.
little nuggets. dare
Her
I
little
say.
nuggets.
She was your little treat.
So good. She would call me Patricio, and yeah, she was just the best. And in fact, I visited her for a long time until one time I went there and they said she transferred, and I said where, and they said I don't know. So,
Aw.
It's McDonald's, like across the street.
yeah, it probably.
Nobody cared as much as you did.
No one cared as much as me. So yeah, I didn't. When I quit McDonald's, I said, I'm going to put in my 2 weeks, but keep me on the schedule unless you need someone to cover. And I didn't mean it. I didn't want to just quit because I felt sad about it.
You didn't want to have to start paying for food again.
Exactly. But yeah, I have walked out before, so I empathize with Amy when she was at certain jobs texting me, I can't take this. This is horrible. That they suck. I was like, well, this is fucking you up. It's starting to fuck me up. Maybe just leave.
Yeah.
Maybe just leave. Why not, right?
And I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always sad. I mean, like the job that I left this year, like I wanted to leave for a while, but then I did have a group of friends there, and then everyone started quitting, and it got pretty upsetting. So it was like the time had come. But
Yeah, once you're the last one on the ship, it's
yeah, I'm like, there's no one else here that I like ananymore.
like, yeah, it's not
Yeah.
worth
Yeah.
it's not worth it anymore, kind of.
So I want to ask you guys a few 2017 best ofs, and in some of these areas, I haven't seen or listened to or heard or whatever many items because I've personally been very busy with my writing this year, and I sort of let my entertainment consumption, except for podcasts, pretty much fall by the wayside. But I want to ask you guys, what are your favorite? Let's go with movies. First, movies of 2017.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, before we started this, I was looking stuff up because I forgot what even came out this year.
I might have to pull up a
Yeah,
list myself,
exactly.
actually.
I know that, Ryan, you said you really liked the Spider-Man Homecoming this year.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Decently. Not a best, but like...
I wouldn't put it, as like, best of the year thing. I even liked other Marvel movies more than that one this year.
Yeah.
Guardians 2, maybe?
Guardians 2
I
was
gonna
definitely
say
my
that
tops.
one.
Yeah,
I really liked that one.
that was definitely my tops of the superhero group.
I would
Yeah.
say to myself, I have not seen Thor yet.
And I haven't seen Thor yet
it
either.
hurts me. Thor's
I
my
love
favorite,
that. I love
but
Ragnarok.
I haven't gotten to see it, but so far,
We gotta see it this week.
I mean, I loved Wonder Woman,
See, okay, Wonder
but
Woman...
I think Guardians 2 is better to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wonder Woman, I think I talked about this with Pat, but if you guys haven't seen it, spoiler, but my biggest holdup was the villain because he was
Yeah.
in Harry Potter, and that's all I could picture when I looked at him.
The exact same.
Yeah.
Like, are you not going to
Really?
shave your mustache,
Yeah,
Lupin?
the mustache. It was a really weird pick to like choose him to be in it, like as the villain specifically, and then to
you
not...
complain about his mustache, and then Justice League comes out and is like, "Oh yeah, you really want to see a mustache that'll ruin a fucking movie?
Oh,
Hold this shit up."
I heard about this.
Oh my God.
We haven't seen it yet, but there's a controversy over the removal
Superman
of
kind of looks like a Muppet.
That's funny. I haven't seen Justice League yet either.
I think that's most
don't
people
go to the
going by the
movies.
box office right now.
Yeah. Oh my god. But that honestly, like, it kind of ruined Wonder Woman for me, because to see him as like the strong guy when he doesn't look strong at all, and then like the 1 second where his face is covered in like his helmet, I was like, all right, I could get into this, and then the fucking helmet comes off and I'm like, god damn it, it's just an old man again.
Well, it was kind of weird because like they established that he could at least be kind of like a shapeshifter or something, and it's like, okay, they cast this unassuming looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when he goes like full on like super villain, they could have switched that and made him
why
like
stay that
a
way?
more like
Something.
fearsome big dude, something like that.
And I mean,
he is supposed to be a Greek god.
I liked the movie a lot. I thought there were great moments.
Yeah.
I loved Amy's reaction to when Wonder Woman was climbing the mountain by blasting the holes through with her hands.
Oh yeah.
That was dope.
Nice.
So cool. And she was great.
Did I cry?
I think you teared up a little bit, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was beautiful.
It was better than I thought it would be because I didn't love the trailers going into it, and the other DC movies thus far have been not on the side of good.
Right.
So going into it, I was skeptical. I ended up enjoying it. The last act kind of took me out of it with the, like it was like a really sincere, like cool original character story, and then the last act turned into like a CGI bomb everything kind of deal.
Totally.
And that, I've seen enough of that.
I loved the first scene personally. It made me feel so good.
Oh, the opening, yeah.
Yeah,
so
when
good.
all the ladies all together, all
Well, you know what's
badass
interesting,
Amazon women.
and it's cool you say that because like I was telling a friend of mine, we're both dudes. We were saying our criticisms about it or whatever. We both enjoyed it overall, though. And I stopped at a certain point. And I said to him, though, this movie isn't for us. Like I have some, gripes with it, film wise or cinema wise, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, this movie's for girls. Like
it was
this
like
is
Lady Spartacus.
Yeah, exactly. This is for young girls to watch and finally
Have
get their
superhero.
badass superhero.
Right.
We've had our superhero movies from the beginning of time. So I can say what I want about it, but it doesn't matter.
Same, and I think that my only gripe is that ending. And you know what? I have the same gripe with the first Iron Man movie. And to me, the Iron Man 1, everyone thinks is one of the best Marvel movies. I think it is the second worst one ever.
Ouch.
I don't like when a villain becomes a Saturday morning cartoon. Like just I remember in Wonder Woman, Lupin, I can't call him anything else. He says, "I will destroy you," like 3 times, and it's like, but
So dramatic.
the movie hasn't been that until now. And when
It felt like a different movie, honestly.
yeah, and the same thing happens in the first Iron Man. He becomes a Dragon Ball Z villain. And I grew up loving Dragon Ball Z, but I hadn't been watching that during that movie, right? But for me, Guardians 2, right?
Yep.
Guardians 2 was what everyone told me Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was. And I felt was... I liked Guardians 1. I thought it was good. But I didn't get the whole, this is the best Marvel movie ever type reaction. Because I think the strength of the Marvel movies, and I hope will be a strength of Wonder Woman, is that these movies build on one another, sort of like TV does, right? You get that long-term character development in a way that you can't get in a normal film series. And Guardians was the first time any of those characters had been featured, so you hadn't had that backup of I already care, so now I'm already invested, let's go in. But with Guardians 2, we did, and I thought Guardians 2 was beautiful.
Yeah, and what I thought was especially cool with the second one is I don't think we've ever seen a Marvel movie hit emotional notes like that one did. I saw it a couple times in the theater, and each time, the whole theater was
Nerd. Sorry.
both times, people were sobbing in the theater at the ending. It's just trying to tell such an emotional moment, with its characters. And another thing that's kind of cool is that movie has next to nothing to do with the rest of the Marvel story. You know, like it really just is out there to tell its own thing. You know, it worries about its own characters. It's not setting up, you know, Avengers 9 or whatever, or Ant-Man 5. You know, like that's the criticism sometimes of these Marvel movies is they're just trailers for another one.
Right.
That was so its own thing and had no interest in the rest of it. So I thought it, you know,
Yeah, it was
hit
really
every note.
complete.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
You know, I loved it. Definitely my favorite, you know, comic book movie this year. Not the most popular, I wouldn't think. I think Logan probably got the most praise.
Really?
Yeah, Logan seemed to be getting a lot of praise. And, you know, I liked it. But, again, you know, kind of a Wonder Woman deal where I was like, all right, you know, it's not that great. You know, like, I get it. It's serious and it's R-rated and stuff. But, like...
Yeah, I agree. I liked Logan.
Yeah.
I mean, I did cry at the end of it and everything.
Yeah, there's some
like it
great
had an
moments, yeah.
impact. Like the cross, the tombstone cross, to going into the X. Yeah, definitely heart wrenching at the end.
Yeah, it's such a bummer, that movie. Like
It was a bummer.
It's nothing really to go back. You can sometimes acknowledge something is really well done, but not necessarily enjoy it. You know, if that, especially with, you know, and to especially bring that to a superhero movie, it's kind of like
just because it doesn't have elements that you enjoy.
right. And you know, I'm not asking that every superhero movie be like, you know, the craziest spectacle ever, but that one, it was like, oof, this is a lot. This is a hell of a lot.
I do love a good bummer, though.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's very well made. It's just, you know, like, for me, if I'm going to throw on an X-Men movie, it's not going to be that one.
I hear that. Now, movies that I haven't seen but want to, and chime in if you guys have seen any of these. I do want to see Justice League. I want to see Coco from Pixar.
Yeah.
Thor
That looks
Ragnarok.
cute.
It does look cute. Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man Homecoming. I'll eventually want to see the new Planets of the Apes trilogy.
I want to see
I love
Shape
that.
of Water, and you just saw it, Ryan.
I saw Shape of Water last night. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Very touching. Very, you know, just perfectly made as usual by Del Toro.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Great cast. Great stuff.
I want to see Get Out. Sharon,
Yeah.
I know that you're a big fan.
Same.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Get Out.
Get Out
I
was
think
very
that
good.
it was super impactful to come out this year with the Black Lives Movement
Yeah.
going on. So
And it's cool because, like, you know, the social commentary in it and everything was obviously intentional, but sometimes history gives you, you know, in reality, I guess, gives you a bit more of like a leg up. You know, it's like sometimes the right piece of entertainment hits at the right time. And,
Right.
you know, that did.
You know what? I'm not sure if I could anymore, but I at one point at least wanted to see Baby Driver.
I was very mixed on that movie.
Yeah?
Yeah, the visuals are incredible, you know, a lot of great stuff in it, but the script felt kind of lost. And I've always heard that, you know, Simon Pegg helps out Edgar Wright a lot with the scripts, and he didn't have anything to do with this movie.
Interesting.
So it felt like maybe a piece of the formula was missing.
Interesting. I definitely want to see it.
Me too.
I definitely don't want to see it.
I saw it. It was fine.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of the book, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to see Murder on the Orient Express because
I enjoyed that.
really Georgia Hardstark always talks about it in the podcast, and I'm like catching up to the recent episodes now, so it's in the time where it was more popular, and it sounds really good. Is it like a murder mystery?
It is. It's a Agatha Christie classic
Ooh,
novel.
okay.
It's kind of like
They-
Clue.
Yeah, I
In
think
a
Clue's
way.
probably, you know, maybe even like a subtle parody on it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, they made a classic film of it back in like 74 or something.
Yeah,
Oscar-winning movie.
My grandma knew about it too.
Yeah, and
Was
they've done
excited.
it so many times on like TV and all kinds of mediums. Kenneth Branagh made this one. It's got a huge cast. I saw a preview screening of it a few months ago in the city. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't know if the final theatrical cut is different or something, but the one I saw was very good.
Cool. Yeah, I want to see that one.
I had fun with it.
And lastly, I want to see The Disaster Artist and Lady Bird.
Absolutely.
I want to see
Lady Bird
Ladybird
for sure.
too.
Disaster Artist, I'm very excited for.
Me,
I think we get it
too.
here
I
next
haven't
week.
heard of
maybe?
that one. What
yes,
is
you
it?
have it. It's
You know The Room?
James Franco's in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I also really want to see My Friend Dahmer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been interested in that one.
Ooh man, I want to see that.
Yeah.
It's coming out on Long Island, kind of exclusively.
Really?
Right?
Oh,
yep, on the
neat.
20th of January. It's gonna
Let
be on
me
Long Island.
know when that's
Dude,
playing.
totally.
'cause
We should all go see it together.
I'd
and
be
then talk
totally
about
down.
it.
My whole family's like obsessed with serial killers.
Oh my
you
god,
know, like-
yes, me too. I love true crime.
Yeah.
So-
If Amy ever murders me, no one's going to be surprised.
Oh, I won't
Stop.
do that because it would be so obvious.
That's true. Like
They'll look. Okay, so her podcast, All Killa, No Filla, My Favorite Murder. Okay, what
she
is
started off the
this?
podcast talking about her anger problems.
It's true.
She's known to have anger problems documented in her own words.
Yeah, see, like usually, like when someone
He's
gets
the only
outed
one
as
that
a
can
serial
handle me,
killer,
that's
like,
what I say.
They talk to the neighbor, and they're always like, they were always so quiet and unassuming, and it's
Yeah,
like Amy,
such
it's
a
like
nice
Not
guy.
Amy.
we saw this coming
Yeah.
a mile and a half.
Oh, Psycho Amy? Oh, Bridge Burner Amy?
She has her own personalized stabbing knife. Like,
I'm actually
No.
nice.
She really is.
If I
She
like
is.
you, though.
Now, real quick, you guys. I just want to go through some best ofs 2017. If you have anything, shout out. If not, move on. Here we go. Boom. Favorite YouTube channel of 2017.
I know
Ooh.
mine. My favorite couple is Jenna Marbles and Julian.
They're so
Solomita.
funny.
So
but
good.
Julian actually branched off and made his own show with this guy Colin Duddy, and it's called Last Minute Trips, and it's fucking incredible, and I don't know why it's not getting even more praise. It's doing great, but like it's the best YouTube thing I've
check
ever
it out.
seen.
That's
He's
awesome.
so funny.
Yeah,
He's,
they
oh my God, he's great.
yeah, to explain it, they just throw a dart at a map of the United States and then go immediately, like
That's
within 20 minutes. They have to
amazing.
pack for whatever weather condition it is, and then book plane flights, which are all probably super expensive.
Yeah.
And all of their fans are like helping them out with this and like donate to them, and then like
so they have
buy
like a
their merch.
Patreon
They
and
have a
stuff.
fund
probably.
Yeah.
for it, really.
And
Is that why he's always away in Jenna's
Yes.
videos and he comes home?
Yeah, he always is away. He goes once a month, and this was the first year of them doing it. So yeah, it can land anywhere, and they have to go to that exact spot. So it could be the smallest town with only a few hundred people.
Like down to GPS.
Yes, and they go and they hit like the board that says like you're in this part of this state.
It's always in the U.S. though.
Yeah, it's always
Okay.
in the U.S.
That's cool.
Imagine
But-
if they went to like Taiwan or
which
something.
would be amazing, and I feel like it has complete potential to get picked up
Oh,
by
yeah.
an actual
Yeah.
network.
Once they have
It
more
sounds like it would,
finances
yeah.
and stuff.
It should be on TV, and
Mm-hmm.
they
That's a
should be
brilliant
getting money
idea
for
if
it.
you have the means for it.
That is.
Exactly.
How about you, Ryan?
The one I probably hit up most is this one called Red Letter Media. These dudes out of Milwaukee, I believe. They're just, it's about four guys, they're just big movie fans and stuff. And they started by doing their own, review shows and stuff like that on their channel. And then it branched out into like doing like unique commentaries on these movies. And they're very, very funny.
That's cool.
They also serve as kind of a check on a lot of the YouTube media of movies, if you will, like the movie news groups, if you will, like
Okay.
Collider or whoever. A lot of them have a lot of tropes, negative tropes about them, and they kind of keep them in check through parody, like The Daily Show or something would with other things.
That's Red Letter Media?
Red Letter Media, they became very well known because they did these full-length, like feature-length reviews of each of the Star Wars prequel movies under the guise of this character named Mr. Plinkett, who is like a morbidly obese, housebound serial killer old guy, and yet he's obsessed with Star Wars. So like each of these
I mean,
reviews,
that checks out, yeah.
each of these reviews are like 90 minutes long, and they like in depth dissect why these movies did not work with audiences and what's wrong with George Lucas. So they became pretty well known from that. They're very funny. And then this year, like they just seem to like be doing like a lot of new material. They have a show called Best of the Worst that
I've heard of this.
their
I have.
fans send them in the worst VHS movies they can find and stuff, and they watch them and make fun of them. Like,
That's good.
if you love Mystery Science Theater 3000 or that kind of stuff, they're kind of the YouTube generation of that.
That does sound good. How about you, Amy?
I love Lauren Riley, the Freak,
Oh my God, yes.
because her daily stories, just day-to-day stories, are really interesting. She has a lot of really great facial expressions. Her boyfriend and her have a great relationship, and that's fun to watch and hear about. And she's really funny. She's got a great energy to her, so I like to watch her a lot. And then through Pat, I really enjoy watching the different kinds of people react videos. I don't know who
my
like
God,
puts
I
those
know
out, but
those
like
are,
old people
yeah.
react or like kids react
Oh yeah.
to like new
yes,
music
Yes.
and
The Fine
different
Bros, yeah.
different new things that come out in the media and whatnot. They will present it to different age groups of people and then watch their reactions and basically interview them about what they feel about it. And it's just always really like heartwarming and funny, and I like that stuff.
And in fact, about Lauren, we actually hired Lauren to write a Destiny New York Volume 2 short.
Yeah,
She's
which
great.
came out great.
She's such a cool person, and she's she's one of our like collaborators now.
Indeed.
And
We have to say it that Amy's currently wearing a
I'm wearing a
pantsuit
right now for her.
and Lauren is known for one
that
of her.
was like her first viral
Yeah.
famous video.
Yeah, big viral video. If you have heard of the video, it's a pantsuit.
That's her.
Then that's her. That's Lauren.
So,
And
Pat, who's your YouTube
Yeah, what's
go-to here?
my favorite one this year is probably the Hodge twins.
Oh yeah.
I've always been big fans of a big fan of the Vlogbrothers with Hank and John Green. But this year I discovered the Hodge twins. They are comedians and they're fitness dudes and also fast food reviewers. But through watching their comedy, I have started to try their fitness regimen, and I've lost 10 pounds this month because of them.
Holy shit.
And
And it's fun too because they make it fun. And
Yeah.
when you're trying to, with such a busy schedule and you're trying to change your lifestyle, it's so hard and it's always such a bummer to think about, it feels like, because it's more energy you have to spend. But with them, it's fun, you know? They're funny as hell.
yes,
So.
and they taught me a way that doctors have never even mentioned to me that is the most effective and logical way of dieting I've ever even heard. And,
Cutting off your limbs.
well, pretty much.
100 pounds right there.
But yeah, it's just they've been great and they're hilarious. I hope to go see them next year.
Yeah,
they
have
tour,
live
or-
tours
They
because
tour,
they're
yeah,
stand-up
they tour.
comedians
I love
together.
when the people tour.
It's so
such
good.
a good idea.
And in fact, they put out their first comic and it's on the way.
Neat.
Yeah.
Yay.
And
cool.
2 more categories. We have almost no time left, so let's blast through these.
All right, boom.
Yeah.
Favorite album of the year? Mine is Jay-Z's 444.
Oh, you took mine, bro.
Amy's is Jay-Z's 444.
That's 2 for Jay-Z.
I don't have a favorite album. I don't.
Did Tegan and Sarah's The Con X album come out this year?
Yeah, but that isn't really fair because
Because
that's
it's not new.
yeah, that's like compilation of
I'm
covers.
still-
yeah, I'm a big music person, but not
Right.
anything like
I'm
current,
I'm
you know
in
what
the
I
same
mean?
boat. So
I
yeah,
just
I
listen
feel
to
you.
the same old stuff.
I hear that.
used
Music
to.
is kind of just like comforting to me.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you don't, not that I don't take chances with new music. It's just like, I don't really, I guess I'm not active enough in the like discovery of new music. You know,
Recently-
like if people send me stuff, definitely I listen to it, no doubt. But
I
like,
used to discover music a ton when I was growing up,
Yeah, yeah.
and then it became like something that
Totally.
goes in the backseat.
Yeah,
yeah, I
And I'm
think
like,
most like teenagers go out of their way to do
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
Because music's so relatable to young people.
It's part of the scene.
Right, but yeah, when you start like working full time and doing
Yeah.
everything else, it's like you have to make an effort to go find new stuff, and that's where the problem comes.
Taylor Swift just came out with a new album, and at work they were playing like songs from all her other albums all day in the lobby at work. And I was one of the very few baristas that was truly, truly enjoying it.
Yeah, you know, I love her new album. I know that it is once again in vogue to hate Taylor Swift. It was popular to hate her entire career, and then 1989 came out, and it's actually cool to love her now. But then this album came out. It's like, no. Actually, it's not cool to love her. We're all
Dude.
supposed to hate her now.
Dude, I heard she was the one that stole your car.
I wouldn't be
Like,
surprised.
what the
if
fuck are you
internet
defending
blamed
her
it on
for? Seriously.
I'm a big fan of the new album too. That's probably my second favorite album of the year. So it's kind of weird to have Jay-Z and then Taylor Swift.
Right.
I have like
Your picks.
How ironic.
an album I got this year that I really liked that
is it?
was new this year, but like it's not like, like a normal music album. It was John Carpenter, who, very famous horror director. He composes the music to all his own movies. Yeah. Now that he doesn't really direct anymore, he just sort of like jams with his son, and they just create like crazy synthesizer themes and like stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That totally
so
counts. Yeah, that's good.
he has 2 albums. They're Lost Themes 1 and 2. They're both awesome.
Sounds nice.
And he came out with this one called Anthology, which is just that. It's an anthology of all of the themes he's conducted and composed for all of his movies and
That
stuff.
sounds dope.
And I actually saw him perform them live with his band a couple weeks ago in the city. It was
Is his son
pretty
in the
awesome.
band?
He is.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a really sick show. It was really good.
That's dope.
My final categories right now. I'm just gonna call them out. Right. Favorite TV show of the year? Stranger Things. Favorite podcast of the year? Brilliant Idiots, as well as Dear Hank and John. Both of those I think are awesome.
Fuck Space Between's podcast.
And favorite comic of the year? Oh my God! It could be Motor Girl. It could be Motor Girl by Terry Moore.
That was, yeah.
Love him.
Any podcasts or TV shows you want to throw in?
Podcast, obviously, you've heard me talk about it all the time. It's literally the only one I listened to so far. My Favorite Murder. TV shows, watch a lot of true crime documentaries. None of them are new because they're all on Netflix. What was the other one? Oh, comic.
Comic, yeah.
Man, I've been too busy to read lately, but I want to say highlight of my week, year, month has been Clonsters coming in the mail.
Oh,
And that is definitely a comic, even though we created it. I would just have to think a little longer about things that I read that I really enjoyed this year. So
Yeah, I mean, shows for me, obviously Stranger Things, Game of Thrones are always going to be favorites, but I did really enjoy Will and Grace's comeback on TV. I think they did a really good job at keeping that show exactly the same as it was, and then putting those little political statements in there, like the very first episode ending with a Make America Gay Again hat close up was incredible. And then yeah, I don't know. Comic wise, I mean, Paper Girls came out. Was that this year? Or
Yeah.
it might have
One of the
been-
editions did,
It
yeah.
One of the
debuted.
editions.
Yeah,
That was going to be on my
debuted
list.
a few, I think 2 years ago, but it's been
Yeah, it's been
coming out.
continuous.
Yeah,
And
it's continuing.
so good.
Yeah.
It's
I
so good.
prefer Paper Girls to Stranger Things, and they're kind of in that
To
real.
Saga?
I'm sorry.
Oh no,
No,
sorry,
Stranger
sorry.
Things, because
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people compare them because they have that same kind of
okay.
like feel to
Interesting.
them.
I'm
Okay.
currently
Yeah.
reading The Woods, and I feel like that
Yeah,
has
that's a really-
comparisons
Totally, I can see
too.
that.
Interesting. I've never thought about the connections between.
There's a lot of bullet points they
leftovers.
both follow if you think about it.
All right. We have time for one single question, and I think
Throw it at us.
it does kind of summarize, at least politically, where we are in 2017.
Oh boy.
All right. This question comes from Terrell Bateman. He writes to ask, "What's worse, a disaster or a catastrophe?"
Jesus.
I'm gonna go out and say I think definitively catastrophe is worse, right?
Yeah, I was gonna
That's-
say.
Right? Is there any disagreement here?
No, disaster is shitty.
Yeah, no,
But a
I don't.
But it's
know
like at
disaster.
least you can like kind of blame it on
Bad.
nature,
Yes.
Yeah.
And
You know what? I think that it comes down to the different forms of the word, right? Like if you say this is disastrous, it sucks.
But what if you say this is catastrophic?
Catastrophic? That had. Oh,
Did I say catastrophical?
You really did.
On that.
that's even worse though. Like that means it's like
catastrophic delicious salad.
that means like catastrophes in the rearview mirror. Now we're way off on catastrophical.
I'm really smart.
Stop.
What?
Catastrophic. It sounds like what it is.
Yeah. Well, what about, okay, so New Year's resolutions.
Oh my God, New Year's resolutions.
Oh, word. We have a month to start thinking about it because
Yeah.
it's December
It's
2nd
true.
right now.
I mean, we have.
I have my writing goals, you know.
Yeah.
I have my health goals now. I'm making all kinds of gains.
Yeah.
You should hear him in the when we order food anywhere. It's like just the sandwich because I'm cutting.
Do you actually say that?
I do.
One guy repeated
That's a
after
quote.
him. He's like, "You're cutting."
Yeah.
There's gonna be like a really worried waiter. It's like, this fucker just threatened to cut me.
He's
Oh
cutting.
my god.
Yeah, it's a quote from the Hodge twins, and it's making choosing healthier items, or choosing not even healthier items, but choosing to cut certain items to make it funny, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. So my resolutions are just writing centric and trying to live longer. How about you guys?
Well, I mean, the company wise, I think we have some pretty big goals for
We do.
moving forward. So we can't talk about a lot of that stuff. But I mean, you can see this in general. The podcast is us giving free entertainment as a thank you for everything that people have, donated to us so far.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, just
Plus-
hanging out with us.
It's
Yeah.
worth noting, the podcast itself was a goal at one point. It
Exactly.
Was
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
it was on a sheet of paper, like, hey, we should do this down the road, and now, well, we're doing
It's
it.
good point.
Damn good point.
This was a goal, and now it's happening, motherfucker.
Deal with it, bitch.
Deal with it, or you know what? Don't. We're not forcing you to.
We don't give a
Until you
shit.
do.
You already listened to the entire episode to get pissed off at us, so
Yeah, you know what?
They're hate
If you're
listening.
still listening, you're hate listening, and in that case, fuck you. All right, so Ryan and Amy, any
Yep.
what the fuck do you call that?
Resolutions.
Resolution.
20
Goals, resolutions.
I haven't actually thought about it yet because I just felt like I had a little time, and I'm not really like a resolution type because I can never follow through with them. So I just don't want to disappoint myself, but we'll see. I want to say that it's like to start more of like a daily meditation routine, or maybe like
That's a good one.
I'm kind of in the boat with Amy, like the whole like January 1st, this shit's gonna change,
Like, I wish I could say, oh, I'll quit smoking, but like, fuck that.
I'm more of like a short-term goal person. It's like, okay, I'm gonna accomplish this, and that, like
This week.
Yeah, exactly. But if I have any goals, they're gonna be, professional. They're gonna be,
Definitely.
like, okay, I want to accomplish this book or that script or blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna do the, standard, demand that, I find happiness and, like
Or,
complete
like,
inner
give yourself
peace
a certain
and.
set amount of weight to lose. And then
Yeah,
you
I'm not
do it.
gonna
It's
do
like-
that bullshit with like the like daily.
But I think it's a
affirmation
good idea
crap,
for people that can do it and don't make daily lists of
more
things to do. But I'm
more
like such
power
a
to
lister.
anyone that does anything that
Yeah.
makes themselves better or
Right.
feel better.
Right.
That's cool. I have my own way of dealing with life though.
I've just been disappointed in myself too much. I'd rather just like be like, all right, tomorrow I got to do this, 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 and this.
Right. That's what I do. It's like on a Monday, I'll be like, okay, this is the shit I need to get done this week. It's gonna happen.
I hear that. Yeah.
And then I'm not on December 30th going like, fuck my
I
goddamn
guess I just
life.
have to think of a more long-term goal for within the month so I can have like a little resolution.
My long-term goal is put off dying as long as possible.
There you
I
go.
think.
Oh god.
Mine.
That's a pretty
too.
steady one.
It is, and I think that on that uplifting note, it's time to wrap up, you guys.
Live forever. My resolution.
This has been the Space Between podcast. Shannon's over here throwing books down. You can
She's real upset. Just kidding.
She's like, fuck 2017.
Shannon's like, I had so many resolutions this year, and you guys just shit all over.
Wait, we got yours. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Oh, believe me, I'm on the same
Just
path.
making sure.
No resolution.
We're falling apart in this.
There's
bitch.
a fire alarm
Just
going off in
with
the background.
Goddamn flow.
Wait, is the catastrophe happening?
This is the catastrophe.
Do you hear the alarm?
I
right
know
now?
the
Like-
fire alarm's
Ryan
going off.
did not do a good job in North Korea, you guys.
The
All right.
apocalypse
I
is
brought
now.
the problems here. Trump's gonna tweet about me any minute.
Oh,
It's gonna be
no.
really rough.
This has been the Space Between podcast. You can follow this catastrophe at Space Between Ent on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you want to have your questions answered, you can hit us up there or email us at spacebetweenent@gmail.com. So again, thank you for listening. Thank you to this goddamn fire alarm. And bye, you guys.
Time to
See ya.
evacuate.